Adventure Ho Illumineers, and welcome back to another edition of the DuckTale Dads podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mac, joined by Ryan and joined by Nathaniel. This is our second time in person, but we aren't the only ones here. The bulk of this episode is our featured guest, the legendary JDZQuest himself.
Welcome,
airhorns. JDZQuest.
Airhorns all around. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I do appreciate it, man. Thanks for allowing me to be here. It's an incredible honor to be a part of the DuckTale Dads. I feel like I'm a DuckTale dad now because I am a dad and I also like DuckTale. So whenever my shirt's in the mail, I'll be glad to receive that. No, but seriously, it's a great vibe, man. Thanks for allowing me to be here, and let's get into it, man. Let's do it. I mean, how are you guys feeling, Mr. DuckTales and Dads?
We are butterflies all around because I think we're all excited and nervous both to have you on and to have this great conversation ahead of us. We always start with our first segment on each of our podcasts, as we call it What's New in Your World. Very simply, just an update if you want to share it on what may be recent news for you in both the Lorcana and the personal front. We'll have Nathaniel kick us off, though. So, Nathaniel, what's new in your world?
Oh, on the spot. So from a personal perspective, we celebrate Easter this weekend. That was a ton of fun. Saw tons of family. And did all sorts of Easter egg hunt things, which is so fun when you see your little kid find that stuff. Pun intended. And so that was good. First dad joke out of the way. And then from a Lorcana perspective, really excited for set champ season. We just had some results kind of come in from this weekend, so definitely seeing some of the decks we expected to see. But yeah, I won't be able to participate this upcoming weekend because kind of blending the personal and the Lorcana perspective. My wife is going on vacation, so I'm solo parenting for the week, which means I will not be abandoning my children for a set champs for 7 hours.
Take them with you. That's a secret.
Bring them with, right? I'll just be kind of doing some testing and probably bending your guys' ears as we prepare for hopefully the following weekend. So it'll be the third weekend already of set champs where I finally get to dive in and hopefully play in at least one.
Right on. Okay. Mac, what's new in your world?
So I just got back from vacation. I was not here last episode. We went skiing in Big Sky, Montana. So I was there for 4 days, skied 3 of them, had a blast. First time that my oldest son was able to join us there. Both of my 2 kids did ski and both enjoyed it. So my wife and that was the huge win of the week, is that they enjoyed skiing. So now we can continue to go and try it not only here at home, but then when we go back to Big Sky. Lorcana related, I was following a lot of the first weekend set champs. A lot of friends of ours attended a lot of the local scene here. And one of them, Shout Bunker Gaming, they actually had a stream. So I was able to catch that stream a little bit, watched previous guests of the podcast, Hannah and Christian, whom you've probably met before, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah, they were playing. Kind of a little tip for you guys. It seems to be a mid-range and control meta here locally. I don't know how it is for you guys over in where you're living, JDZ. So, but yeah, that's kind of what's new in my world. But I'm excited to get to the set champs grind for sure. How about you, Ryan? What's new in your world?
Personal life, we recently got through a bout of illnesses that we talked about on the podcast, and now it seems like we're entering a second wave of it, and I'm nervous as all get out. I don't want to catch this one. It seems to be a GI bug going around my house. I'm going to try to keep it as far away from me as possible. We were able to get down to my in-laws for a Easter celebration. That was a blast, and we found the joy of an Easter egg hunt. So now every single night after daycare, we are having Easter egg hunts inside our house because they're so much fun. So it's, here are the eggs, nothing inside them. Go hide them, and I'm going to come find them. Easy way to pass some time, great way to pass some time, and it's giggles all around. So it's a blast there. Lorcana front, just been getting ready for set champs. I'm hoping to get to one this upcoming weekend. Was not able to go last weekend, but it should be a good time. Looking forward to it. Loving the fact that as a busy dad, I get to fit in some extra games through some online play. So that's always a joy to be able to feel a little bit more prepared. I tend to err on the side of over-prepared, I would say. And so hopefully I don't just completely flame out, but we'll see how it goes this coming weekend if I'm able to get out to one. All right, JDZ, what's new in your world?
Oh man, it's my turn. I feel like I'm a part of the team. No, seriously. Same goes. Easter, a really big holiday here in our family. We all kind of did a lot of the traditional stuff. Did the eggs. Read some Bible. We did watch some Prince of Egypt. Just kind of hung out with the family and things of that sort. And then we had a nice meal and just kind of got together as a family and just kind of chilled a little bit there for Easter before trying to set my studio up for the next day of streaming. But in terms of Lorcana, in the realm of Lorcana, I did have the opportunity to go to a set championship, and I was able to get to a top 8 finish. It's not. Thank you. I mean, it was okay. I say it was only, but there were 15 people in the room. Okay, so I'm barely better than half of the people that were there. But there is something that can be celebrated from that, is the fact that throughout this whole set championship run, at least for this one and maybe another couple that I will do that I plan on playing in, I have started the Tinkerbell challenge. Okay, the Snowflake Collector challenge. All of my decks will have 4 copies of the Tinkerbell. The card that you're trying to win, I will have in my deck at 4 copies, and I did have that in my deck, and I was able to, play Amethyst Steel featuring 4 copies of Tinkerbell, and we're able to, beat enough people to get to a top 8 finish. So I got one. I'm gonna do another one this Saturday and every single weekend until set championships complete, and see how many Tinkerbells I can get while playing Tinkerbell. So you guys can join the challenge if you want. It's very hard. Okay, I would not recommend it, but it's definitely something that makes it seem a bit more, I would say, a bit more challenging, and maybe a little bit more, because I'm not the most competitive player, and I'm more of a community. If you got your competitive players and you got your social players, you got your casual players, your community players, I'm more of a competitive leaning, more community. It's kind of where I find the most of my joy, and I really don't like to sweat it out at the set championships too much. I think it just it's not the energy I think that those events should have. And I just want to, go out there, have a good time, let my metaphorical hair down, and just, vibe out a little bit. So that's what I did. That's what I plan on doing. I'm going to keep doing it, and hopefully we can keep stacking up these Tinkerbells, and maybe that'll be how it goes. But yeah, that was my Easter and also my Lorcana.
It feels like you're kind of proving the doubters wrong, though, because with getting a top 8 with 4 copies of the new Tink in your deck, she must be meta.
I mean, maybe there is a world. No, because especially like in granted, the card, I think the card might have a future, and I fully believe this card is better than people give it credit for. I think it might have a future once we get through a rotation, or maybe they add some new cards to the card pool. But if you play it with Amethyst and Steel, you can shift Tinkerbell on top of Tinkerbell at 4. I mean, it's a 3 cost, shifts on 4. No one ever sees it coming. No, people have forgotten about Tinkerbell. They're going to quest, and then they're going to get blown up, and it's just going to be, you're on your way to a victory. Or you can, Olaf, you can bounce the stuff back to your hand. You can get a nice quest in there. I was playing Show Me More as well, so I can draw a bunch of cards, quest with it for 4. Pocahontas, quest with it for 8. It was doing some stuff. Okay, it was kind of cooking a little bit, but honestly, spicy. I don't recommend it, though. I do not recommend.
I was about to say, the secret sauce. We're going to show up the next couple of weekends to our set champs and see these JDZ decks come out of nowhere.
I mean, it could explode, but it's going to be a good time. I mean, I really do mean that. Like, these set championships, early on, and I was just mentioning this on my own stream, but these set championships, when they first came out, they were very, very sweaty, very competitive. And when the Rockstar Stitch was on the line, people were really coming from all around to make these very competitive things. But just based on some of the actions that I could feel that Ravensburger has been taking with the increasing of the prizes, with the removal of the second place mat, I think the goal is to have these be like an introductory thing for people into the competitive environment. And I feel, as an ambassador of the game, if you have this environment that's very overtly competitive and super, super obnoxiously sweaty, I think people might become disenfranchised with it, and they might stop showing up. So I feel if people show up with something that's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more relaxed, and people can go there, even if they don't win, they have a good experience, then they're more likely to continue to play the game and keep coming back. So I just want to kind of be a part of the future I want, instead of just going there and sweating it out and making the environment much more sweaty, and people might not enjoy that experience. So at least that's my goal. And also, if you show up with your rogue off-meta deck and you don't do well, you could just say, hey, my deck's no good, and you can feel confident. But then when you go there with your super metafied, tweaked out, tournament ready deck, and then you don't do well, you're like, man, I just stink, and I just and now you don't have that thing to throw away. So I think maybe it's a double-edged sword.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for joining. The bulk of this episode, as we kind of talked about before we hit record, is we're just three dads loving to play this game, and we like to talk Lorcana when we have our time. So bringing you in, having the the background that you do, the insight that you do, very cool that you're able to join us. And but we got a whole list of questions for you that we're just going to kind of rapid fire, and then let's just see where this conversation goes.
Righteous. Okay, cut me off if you need to, man, because I can rant and ramble from time to time. So
that's not what we're about. We're gonna give you the floor. So
I'll try to be succinct. Okay, I'll try to keep it. Okay.
Before we really dive into like some what we consider hardcore Lorcana questions, let's do some like what is JDZ about questions. Let's just know you a little bit. So first of all, how did you get into this game? Where did your Lorcana journey start? And, and do you have any other history in TCGs? And maybe explain that. How did you get into it?
Okay, I do. Okay, my TCG history starts with the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you guys, I'm sure obviously you guys know Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! When it came in. I played Pokemon as a child, but I never really played. I just had the cards and I just collected them, but I never played the game. But when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came, it hit me. Excuse me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Like it took over every aspect of my young life. All of my time and all of my small wealth or money I had went to that game. Every weekend I'm on the trail and I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I just absolutely adored that game. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! All the way up to say maybe 2007, 2008 in there somewhere. And then that's when I stopped because I started my career in the United States Army. So I was doing the Army thing for a while and I kind of would try to dabble in gaming a little bit, but it just wasn't anywhere on my radar of things that I wanted to do. And then once COVID happened and we all kind of got shut down, even in the military, everyone got shut down. And I started to, wonder like what's going on with these games? What's going on with Yu-Gi-Oh! I wonder what's happening. And I tried to go back into Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually. And I, went to some local game stores and I was trying to find the cards. The game has completely become unplayable, in my opinion. No offense to anyone who's playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Out there who's listening to the DuckTale Dads. If you love Yu-Gi-Oh! Keep doing it. Game's unplayable, unrecognizable. It was just so different. And I just couldn't. I couldn't even be bothered with it. But in my quest to find the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, I found out about a retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Scene that they had, like where people were reliving, 2005, called GOAT format and like Edison format, and people were start playing GOAT format again. So I was like, wow, this is awesome. This is just like I remember. Like it's very rudimentary, very simple, back to basics Yu-Gi-Oh! Just like I remember playing when I was a kid. Boom, sign me up. And I just started doing GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! And I would play all the time. And it just I fell in love with it again. And I was doing that for years and years. So much so that I would start to stream that. I would start to do content for it. I would start to have and it became like a pretty substantial thing. Like the GOAT format if you Google, you can see I'm in the World Championship doing the same thing I'm doing for Lorcana, but for GOAT format. And it was really a cool experience. And then I had a friend there who I met along the way through GOAT format. Someone I've been following for a really long time. A gentleman named Dale Bolito. You might know him. He's a great Lorcana player. And he was getting into Lorcana at the ground floor along with another friend that goes by the name of Moxie's. They were getting into Lorcana, and they were also great GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! Player. And they're like, dude, you got to do this. You got to come into Lorcana. It's a really cool game. It's Disney. You're going to love it. Because I unlike most players, I'm a Disney first guy. Like if this game was not Disney Lorcana, I would not be playing it right now. It's a Disney thing that what got me in, because even before I started playing this game, I was always talking about Disney stuff. I was always going to Disney World. I was always being a Disney person. And when Lorcana dropped, it was just very hard to get the product. I did get like some chapter 1 stuff, but I was just gonna get the cards just because I like Disney stuff. And I had no intention on playing until they were like, no, dude, this game is great. You need to play, you need to play, you need to play. Sure enough, I go to, I end up start going to locals and going to set championships and stuff. And this was back in set 3, Ursula's return. I didn't do the Stitch. But I started playing, the first set championship I went to was Ursula's Return. And I just loved it, man. It just bit me like a bug, and it just took over. So the same love I had for Yu-Gi-Oh, I kind of stopped doing that now because I passed that over to some other people. They're all handling the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff now, the Go Format stuff, and now I'm just all in on Lorcana, and that's just my personality. Like, I don't have anything. It's all everything all the time, and it's just like I become obsessed, and I just want to just go nonstop, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So that's it. I mean, it just started with Yu-Gi-Oh. A couple friends introduced me to it, and it just completely took over my entire focus of life now. And now I'm all in on it, and it's all I do.
Yeah. So you did kind of talk a little bit about this too, just from like a playing experience too. JDZ, we're curious. Like we always see you casting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But outside of maybe playing some fun decks at set champs, what has your experience been like on the more like competitive side, or do you play weekly? Like, how often are you playing the game?
Usually before I started streaming every day, I would go to league night every Friday and Sunday. In my local area, I've just been streaming so much that I haven't really had the chance to go as much. But I played in DLC in Vegas. I played DLC in Vegas. I lost my Let It Go round in DLC in Vegas, and then I played DLC in Seattle. I think I was like 3-3-3 in Seattle, and then I just played DLC in Richmond actually, and I was 5-3. Yeah, because I did not get the opportunity to do the broadcast for DLC in Richmond, so I was like, I'll just sign up and go play. And I did a 5-3 there playing Blue Green Detectives. So no matter what, I'm always gonna be doing something a little my way. I want to do it my way, but it's always gonna be I can compete. I will get out there and play when it's time to play. If I can't broadcast DLC, which is my passion, it's my love. Doing broadcasting, doing commentary is what I love to do more than anything. It's literally what I feel, and it's as cheesy as this may sound to the DuckTale Dads, and I say this all the time, but it's very rare that you get the opportunity to do something that you feel like that's what you're supposed to be doing. And I feel like when I'm doing commentary, when I feel like I'm doing broadcasting and coverage of the tournaments, it feels like that's where I'm supposed to be, and it feels very natural for me, and I want to continue to do that. But if they're not going to allow me to do that for whatever reason, like if they say, hey, we're going to try some other people, I won't be offended. I'll just grab a ticket and I'll go play. And I'll just get in the Swiss rounds, and I'll grind it out and just get it in, and hopefully I can try to win or just have a good time. Like I said, winning to me is secondary behind having a good time and having fun, or just meeting people and talking to people and sharing stories and trading. And that's just kind of what I like to do the most, honestly. Yeah.
I'm very curious now that you mentioned, obviously we see you casting, and you're an effusive personality. You make everybody feel welcome, even from miles away on stream. So clearly your passion is coming through from when I watch the broadcast, at least. So keep that up.
Thank you.
I have more questions on that later. But my first question now is, what are you like at the table with your opponent across from you in the competitive setting at the DLC? Are you like, head down, I'm staring at my cards, I'm watching what you do on your playmat, or are you trying to like strike up conversation and just have
honestly, and this Ryan, this is going to sound like you're not going to believe me, but this is it depends kind of situation. Like if I'm at a DLC, I am mute. Stone cold.
What?
Absolutely. I will not speak. I say nothing. When the game is over, I am very cordial. It's time to talk. Or if my opponent, sometimes, especially in the earlier rounds, if my opponent is like being nervous or they're feeling very uncomfortable, then I'll dial it back and, hey, well, let's just, because again, if they're not having a good time, I'm not having a good time. It's just about competition. Somebody's going to lose, and that's already going to be a pretty icky feeling for someone. But if it's going to be them losing, I don't want them to lose. And also, hey, I lost because I was just very nervous, or I was like tilted or whatever because of whatever reason, So I try to gauge that kind of thing. But if I sit down and my opponent, hey man, they roll out their Rapunzel mat that they got their top 16 with, and they already, they got their deck box, and you can just kind of tell with their mannerism, they're just ready to go. We're getting nothing. I'm locked in, because it's time to, like, and honestly, to that point, that's probably why I don't want to get too competitive, because I'm a super overtly next level competitive guy. Like, I want to win. I want to compete. I want to train. I want to get better. And that's why I shouldn't go pursue that, because I feel that's just a lonely road, and it ends in sadness more often than not, because when you're really hyper competitive, it more often than not is going to end in a sad, hey, you didn't achieve your goals, you feel like a failure, those kind of things. I hate feeling that way too. So, but when I'm there, I'm trying to compete, I'm trying to win, and then once the game is over, then we can kind of talk. But I say quiet, mute.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. Because I feel like when I've only been to one DLC Milwaukee. But when I sit down across from the table, even at that DLC and any set champs, I end up making it too because I don't actually get to go to league nights with two young kids and all the responsibilities at home. But I feel like I'm always trying to learn at least one new piece of information from the person across from me. What do you do? Where are you from? What's like you get into Lorcana, those type of things. One time I got to talk about anime the whole time with the person I was playing with. That was a great time. Like, oh man, when else am I going to have this conversation with somebody? And it's actually socially acceptable, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, to that point, I guess at the end. Usually, I do that at the end or maybe at the beginning before the round starts. But I try not to do too much because a lot of times people will try to use those conversations to kind of get information about. And I hate to think, about this from that kind of perspective, but people will try to use those conversations like, oh, how'd your last round go? Oh, what ended up happening? Oh, how did they beat you? Or how did you beat them? What did you do? And you end up inadvertently, just because you're just trying to be a social creature to break that tension, you'll end up revealing information about your deck. Oh, yeah, well, I used Madam M Elephant and it saved me, because I was able to bounce my, Mulan back to my hand. Okay, now I know they're playing Purple Steel and they got Madam M Elephant in their deck, and that's something I got to look out for. Maybe that's not true, or maybe that's not happening. But in my head, I'm like, okay, they're trying to get something out of my answers or whatever. So we keep it surface level. And at the end, that's when it's time to talk. And that's when it's time to break it down and know like what's going on. You can kind of go over your match a little bit if they have time left, depending on how the rounds go. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's a me problem. Maybe all of you out there, the DuckTale Dads, don't do that. Maybe continue to do what Ryan's doing. But that's just...
I'm just taking a mental note that if JDZ is going to clock me as a cheater if I ever sit down across from him. So
no, come on, no. And honestly, I wouldn't classify that as cheating. That is just it happens. It's just natural conversation, and people grasp onto that. But I guarantee you, all the top players are doing stuff like that. So if you know that you're a chatty Cathy, maybe you put yourself in a position where you are staying more quiet and trying to keep your information, because it could be putting yourself at a disadvantage sometimes unwittingly.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'd recently heard on another podcast they were talking about like doing certain things, like they were watching how their opponent was responding to certain things. So I think they were, like on a dogs list, and what the cards that they were like, I wouldn't even begin to think about this. I would just be like, okay, hey, if I play Mowgli, I gotta see their hand. That's awesome already. They're gonna pick like one of their actions, but like they were very intentional about like that. Whatever that choice was would tell me what type of player I'm playing against. Like I wouldn't even think to like make into the person that much. So I think it's a good call out, right? To just be kind of aware that like any information is like that you're giving away freely can be valuable, and the top players are doing it both from a conversational perspective, but even in like these very small like micro behaviors of the game, they're also reading into as well. So maybe you just kind of take the plan of like, if I don't have a plan, then no one knows what we're doing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that is a very fair point too, because even if you didn't really touch on like the psychology of it, like they have this thing is called the pin trick or whatever. I don't agree with any of this kind of stuff. I think it's all like stuff that people probably shouldn't be doing. It gets to that area where it turns to kind of sleazy behavior, and I don't condone that at all. But there's a situation where, like, say for instance, you have 3 characters on your side of the board, and I have a character that I kind of want you to not challenge, right? And you can easily challenge it if you wanted to. But what they'll do, they'll see you about to challenge or think about challenging, and they'll quickly pick up the pin like they're about to take the score, and subconsciously in your mind, like, oh, maybe I should quest and not challenge, because they've kind of confirmed what you probably should be doing, because, oh, obviously he's going to quest, so let me go ahead and get ready to write the score. And then, because now your subconscious like, okay, this guy picked up the pin, maybe I should quest instead of challenge or get rid of this character. And you're kind of doing what they want you to do in that situation. That's just very small things, very small, like little indicators that you kind of have to watch out for. And it's really hard to think about it, but I agree. Just kind of don't even try to think about it and just kind of do your thing and just be cognizant and mindful of what you're saying in those situations. And then you should be fine.
Sure. Yeah. One thing you mentioned too that's very interesting, and you talked about being ultra competitive. And I think one of the things, the three of us, one of the themes that we talk about is we grew up with traditional sports. And that we're kind of growing out of that now, and maybe we're in coaching and our kids are doing it now. One of the things we like about Lorcana is that it helps scratch that competitive itch that we still have. So I'm curious, how did you get this ultra competitive nature? Did you grow up in traditional sports too?
I did. Yeah.
Where's that background coming from?
I played football. Okay, I played football, baseball, and I wrestled a bit. That was my sports. But I was also, like I said, I spent 20 years in the United States Army. I was a Green Beret for most of that time, and that is a very, 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 very extremely competitive thing. Okay, just to be in that field, just to be doing that job, you're always competing against your peers for promotions or for different jobs or for different schools or for different opportunities. You're competing with different teams for different missions. You're competing. It's a nonstop competition. You just always have to be, and even against like your teammates or your colleagues, whatever, you want to be the fastest, you want to be the strongest, you want to be the best, it's just a very, I don't know, maybe machismo kind of thing. So I again, to that, I know where it goes for me, and I hate feeling that way. So I don't want to go there, and I don't want to, because falling short and not achieving whatever it is that you have set out to achieve, it just makes you feel miserable, and you got to try even harder. You got to double down, and now you're making sacrifices to things that you really don't want to sacrifice. You're putting in time that you really don't want to put in to do things to achieve whatever that goal might be. So yeah, I'm trying to not be that way, but it's just the way my brain is wired. And if I were to like not do the commentary thing and like, okay, I'm gonna push myself to the limit, I want to get a golden Mickey. Now I'm spending every waking hour training and testing and doing this stuff and playing the same decks over and over again hundreds of times, and I'm getting nauseous even thinking about doing that. What it would take. Because I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it, so I'm not going to do it.
So a question on that. So with having to be like very physically fit and kind of, competing with your peers when you were serving, I'm curious, is there any specific feat from like an athletic perspective that you're particularly proud of? Like I hit this number.
Oh gosh. Oh man, it's tough. I used to when I was really fit. Okay, I'm a kind of out of shape now. I'm out of shape. I'm in my out of shape dad era. But I remember doing like the 1,000-pound club challenge. I remember doing that. That comes to mind. That's when you have to do the 3 physical lifts or the 3 major lifts: bench press, squat, and deadlift. And I was able to get like into the 1,400 pounds. I was lifting a lot of weights. So that was like in my peak physical condition. It was a lot. I had like 500 pounds lift, like 550 squat, and a 375 bench at the time. So I was doing really good at that time. Well, I don't know what it was. Whatever that is. I think like 1,300 pounds or something like that. So it was good. That was at my peak physical fitness level. But not anymore. Those days are well behind me, and I'm not going back.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, before we got into this giant aside about the competitive nature of sports and trading card games, we briefly mentioned you were in casting. Obviously, everyone knows that you're in casting. How did you get into like casting for Lorcana? You said you knew a couple of people that at ground level, and so you pursued the casting route right away, or did you make some phone calls and just said, like, man, you need another voice or personality? I'm ready to go. If you have
it's very funny how that all worked out. Like I said, for the Go Format thing, I had years and years of broadcasting experience, because I would do that, and it wasn't like there was no team. It was just me by myself doing it for hours at a time, 9, 10, 12 hours, whatever. I'd be doing the Go Format tournaments, and I've would get a lot of time in, a lot of reps. And when I came in, I already had that background. That's where people knew me from there. And I would come into Lorcana, and I'm like, hey, this is what I want to do here. I'm learning the game. I've learned the game. I know the game. I think I got a great voice for this, and I want to give it a shot. So I started shopping around my reels or whatever of my Go Format stuff, and like, hey, is this something that you guys will be interested in? and the LCCC came around, the first one that happened. And I had, by way of Dale again, because Dale knew Pavel, and I got a chance to introduce myself to Pavel, and I showed him, like, hey, here's some stuff of what I can do. Would you be interested? He's like, hey, well, this stuff is Yu-Gi-Oh! We're going to try Lorcana. I don't know. And then I was like, hey, man, if you just give me a shot, I'll see what I can do. If I'm bad, then just don't have me back again. Just don't do it. And sure enough, it was me and Luke Wonderland. He also does the ICL, and I got a chance to do the LCCC, and we just came out and same thing, boom. So we hit it, and I practiced. I learned all the cards. I learned the meta inside and out, and I was prepared, and I went in, and we did a really good job. I did a really good job for that first LCCC. I'm like, okay, we got to have this guy come back again and do another one. So I kept coming back, doing LCCCs as much as I could, just anytime I could get a chance. And then I ended up doing for the ICL as well. So I would do the ICL, get as many calls as I could there, and I would just hit the road and like, hey, if anybody needs a guy to do this, I'd be more than willing to give it a shot. And I was just constantly, going to these smaller tournaments, and I would just lend my voice to it. Any kind of webcam, online stuff, I'd lend my voice to that and just try to keep sharpening my skills and building my name. And then I started the streaming, and I started the YouTube and stuff, and that started to build and build and build. And then eventually I got on with the, I think Rochelle noticed me, and she was like, hey, we're going to give you a shot. And I always thought it was going to be like this year was going to be my chance to really go for it. And they were like, no, we're going to get you a shot for the World Championship because we feel like you got it going on and you're doing this stuff, you're putting in the work, and we like your attitude. So come on through. And I got in for the World Championship, and that was just like such a whirlwind. I go from watching Baker and Rebecca and Liam on TV essentially, and now I'm working with these Illuminaires as my coach, and Brandon as well. I'm working with them now. So did the World Championship. That was just a smash hit, and I had the opportunity to come back and do Milwaukee as well. And now I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot to continue to get the DLCs. But like I said, there are a lot of people who are trying to do it, and I don't want to block anybody's chance to continue to do that. But I've had my chance. And then the Lorecast thing just so happened to be a coincidence. Like, I believe we were having like a lunch somewhere with some of the people from Robertsburg. I think Rochelle was there, and Liam was there, and a couple other Luminaires were there. And we were talking, and they were like, oh, we're actually, and they started mentioning in the conversation, some of the Robertsburg staff was like, hey, they were mentioning areas like that I knew of. I was like, wait a minute, I know where that is. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to do this over by this place at this time. I was like, oh, I know where that is too. Like, where are you guys at? They're like, oh, we're in Seattle. I was like, are you serious? I'm in, I'm like right down the street. I'm like in Tacoma. I was like, if you guys, and I just threw it out there. I'm like, hey, if you guys ever need a guy to come by and like, talk, I can do it. And like, you know what? We'll keep you. We'll take you up on that. And they brought me by. We did the Lorecast episode, and it was really cool. And now I just kind of that's how it is. I understand I've been incredibly lucky, and a lot of people may not be able to follow the path that I did to get to what I've gotten. But it's just luck and opportunity. You just have to try to maximize it, I guess, and just do whatever it is you feel, if that's something that you're passionate about. But I did get incredibly lucky, and I'm super fortunate for these opportunities, and I don't take them lightly. And I try to sorry I'm ranting, but the World Championship, I just remember that one because that was such an incredible opportunity, and I know a lot of people would have given anything to be in that spot. So I was like, I cannot do this wrong. Like, I can't fumble this. I got to be on my P's and Q's. I got to be 100% accurate. And I was studying so much, and I was learning these card pools, learning things about sealed. I was learning things about the meta. I was learning about the players. I was watching the movies. I prepared for that World Championship like it was my life depended on it. And I really wanted to do that just to show how important that was to me, and how much that was, because the community deserved it. And I wanted to ensure that, no one would ever ask, why is that guy there? Why is he there? What is he? Who is he? That's my biggest fear. I want to be undeniable. And I want people to know, hey, that's why he's here, because he works hard and he is going to do his very best, and he's never going to, take it for granted. And that's kind of my goal. That's how I approach everything.
Yeah.
I think I'd speak for all of us when I say that it's very evident when you are on stream. Your J's, your D's, your Z's are all very much in very good order. It's just you bring such a unique, I think, blend of the game really well, the mechanics of it, and then to be able to also have this positive, energy that's just so. Really, like you can just relate to it. You feel like you're really part of the experience watching it and listening to you. So I think from the outside kind of perspective, right, like it is very clear that, one, you know what you're talking about and you have done the prep work, like you've put in that part of the work, but you are also able to layer in this really personable, fun personality, right, that I think many players of all competitive shapes and sizes can really relate to, and it just makes the whole experience pretty amazing. So I think that's really unique that you're able to bring all of that in one person. So you make the experience better. I mean, I think I'd had a conversation with friends recently about the value of a good broadcaster in like a sporting game, right? Like it makes these all-time moments even more special when there's like a really great call. And I think you have that special sauce when something really cool happens. And it could be something from a card reveal, a new mechanic, to like a really cool play in a big match. It just makes it all the more memorable when you have this amazing call on it. So kudos to you for that. I think it just makes the whole experience better.
You have no idea how much that means to me as someone, like I said, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like when you have a great broadcast team or you have a great commentator, it elevates. And that's your goal as a commentator. You're just trying to elevate what is already being perceived, okay? Because people can see, you can turn the commentary off and you can watch the game as it's unfolding by itself without someone trying to kind of describe the scenario to you. But that experience, to me, it's inherently boring. Like you can look at someone, just two people playing cards is objectively boring to see. But there's so much intrigue in there. There's so much going on with these turns and these cards and the stress level and the timing and how important and how critical it is. You have to be able to be a great storyteller. You have to be able to elevate that and really drive home why this is here. We're looking at it. If it's greatness that you're looking at, it needs to be observed, and it needs to be sometimes you have to deliver that in a way to someone who is, if this is their first time tuning in, they can understand it. But if this is someone who is, let's face it, a better player than me, they have to be able to at least understand where I'm coming from, and I have to at least be able to relate to them on a competitive enough level to say, hey, that makes sense. That's my biggest goal. And sometimes, you're not going to always hit it out of the park with that because there are some very great players in our community. But at the same time, think of it as like, I watch a lot of, in preparation, I'm serious, I watch a lot of golf commentary. I watch a lot of chess commentary. Those are my two favorites to watch because they run parallel to a trading card game commentary, because fighting game commentary, there's a lot moving around. Football and even baseball to a certain extent, there's a lot happening. Whereas in golf, the people who are playing are significantly better than the people that are watching 99.9% of the time.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, what are we doing? Oh, he hit the ball and it goes in the hole. Like it's very boring. It's very boring. But if you listen to it, these guys they have me on the edge of my seat. And the thing about golf, they can't raise their voice, they can't yell, they got nothing but the story to be able to propel that information to you. Same thing with chess. The chess game is the game. The people that are playing are significantly better than the people that are commentating, but you still have to be able to break that information down, describe the position in a way that the layman can understand, and also the people who are competitive can be able to take some value from what you're saying and still be able to keep up with the action enough to be, what is Magnus Carlsen thinking? I don't know. He's a grand master of this. How am I supposed to, hey, why did he do that? I don't know why he did that. You know what I'm saying? But you can't say, I don't know why they did that. You have to give your reasoning, and it has to be solid enough to make sense. And it has to, it's a fine dance you have to walk, but it's one, I love it, man. It's just what you're saying, that back and forth, that audience interaction, the community interaction is what I live for, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I think most people find out what Magnus was doing 8 turns later when he wins. But yeah, I think it kind of reminds me too of like even when you're watching a good movie and there's music, like the timing of it when it comes in. And if you ever seen some funny like remixes where they'll take out the music that's normally there with something goofy, and it's just like the whole experience seems completely different, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's, to your point, right? Like when you're able to add that suspense and extra intrigue, it just makes the whole watching experience just so much fuller. So,
yeah.
I think we all really appreciate that out of you. The other thing I think we were really curious on is like, when you think about this game, right? Like you talked about how Disney was kind of one of the driving forces to reeling you in. We often like to think about, let's focus on having fun and enjoying what's here and now. But like, as you look to the future with this game, what are some things that you might maybe hope to see? And maybe if you know some stuff that you can't reveal, that's totally fine too. But it maybe like a new mechanic, right, that we haven't seen. Because for us, we do have some trading card experience, but like this is largely the first one where we've really been even remotely competitive in. Mm-hmm. So I think for us, like we're even learning like boost was like a really new thing for us set, right? So are there other things that you kind of have enjoyed maybe from seeing past games, maybe better or for worse, like in the Yu-Gi-Oh world too, right? That like would be really cool to introduce to this game. And it could be gameplay, or it could even be just like promo packs at League, stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot. Like I got a whole laundry list of stuff that I could go through, and this game, honestly, to that point, I don't really have anything I can reveal now. I don't really know anything. Honestly, they keep me in the dark. But I would say that I think in this next set that is coming up, this Wilds Unknown, I believe this thing is a tinderbox. Okay, I believe this game is on the precipice of an explosion in popularity, the likes of which we have never seen. I don't think that we have hit our most popular days yet. I believe with the addition of Pixar coming into this game, I believe it's going to propel Lorcana into a world that I don't know people are ready for. We're just a few short corrections away. We're going to wrap up season 2, which kind of was a slight downgrade from season 1, but I think season 3 is going to ramp in, and we're just going to have this very, very super over the top popular game. And to your point, I think we have to be careful with how much we add, because I truly feel that one of the biggest driving factors and one of the biggest things that I enjoy about Disney Lorcana is that it is so simple, and I don't want to add too many things. I remember the parallel I made to the Yu-Gi-Oh experience I had when I really loved that game. I leave for a while and I come back and it's a completely different game. I hope that never happens in Lorcana. So to answer your question, I'll give you a bunch of stuff that I don't want to see coming into Disney Lorcana, and I'll start with tokens. Okay, I know a lot of people might be big fans of tokens. If you're not familiar with what a token is, it's like a fake character that is created through another card or an effect that plays itself to the board, and you can use tokens to do a variety of different things. A lot of people might be clamoring for a token type thing to come to Lorcana. I hope it never happens, and that's number 1. Number 2, I hope we never get side decking. I know a lot of people may have been clamoring for side decking too. I think our game is so simple and intricate and elegant with the inking and uninkable and inkable system that we have, to the point where your side deck is virtually in your deck, and adding a side deck, although it would probably help the competitive echelon, it just makes your game a bit more cumbersome and confusing. Hopefully we don't ever add it, and just keep that being your 60 card main deck. That's it. Okay. Another thing, and last thing that we can talk about, alternate win conditions. Okay. Please don't add them. Okay. I love the deck out and I love the 20 lore. That's it. Okay. I don't want anything else. No Exodia. No add this to your Inkwell and you win, or have this many cards in your hand, or do that. None of that. We don't want any of that stuff to come into this game. Again, keep it simple, keep it clean, keep it elegant is going to be the name of the game. Also, for last one, no dice rolling, no gambling effects either. We're not doing that either. No roll a dice, do this, flip a coin, do that. None of that. Keep all that stuff out of here, and I think we'll have a nice game. Anything else that they want to add that's in the realm of making the game better and more entertaining? I would concur, because we do kind of get into this Jurassic Park type mode when you're in a card design team. If you don't do something new, people won't go. They won't buy the new cards. They won't try the new stuff, and that's a problem too. So you have to keep doing new and exciting things, but you can't break your game or make it so cumbersome or so all this and that. I think boosting is perfect. I think all the decisions they've made in terms of the game design have been perfect. Maybe Willow, maybe Tramp, that kind of stuff. But maybe that. But I think everything else has been good for the most part. So I'll trust them. If they just don't do all the things I said, and also no out of play zone, keep it under the deck, keep it into the Inkwell, and we're good to go. There you go. Sorry, rank complete.
I fully appreciate the comment about just keep it simple, right? Just keep it
Yes.
simple. The inkability on inkability is already like
it's Disney, right?
Variety enough, and I very much appreciate the low barrier to entry for getting new players.
Yes.
I think that's hugely important. Being the Disney IP and being this family-friendly environment and game, including the community that I've experienced at least, is just very welcoming, very open, very family-oriented and family-friendly. And I appreciate that about a trading card game that I'm enjoying, like exercising and scratching that competitive itch in. And future thinking here, and kind of on more of like a local or personal level, or how do we as players, or how do we as the DuckTale Dads, continue to expand the game. Personally, kind of around our area, we've seen a little bit of local attendance dropping recently.
Yeah.
The last couple of sets, especially since rotation, especially for like weekly night attendance. So how do we like kind of grow and continue to be? You use the term you're an ambassador game. We very much are.
Yeah.
If that's an official title, then it's spot on. And how do we kind of be unofficial ambassadors for the game? In our areas, and how do we continue to grow the game?
That's a tough one because I've noticed that a bit myself, and I think it's just where I when I'm in the realm of Lorcana, which we are right now. So if you're talking about Lorcana, I try not to dwell on the things that are going on in the waking world that surrounds us. But the world is just becoming hard. Okay, it's becoming tough, and I know prices of things are increasing, and people's spare time is decreasing, and it's hard like to get out to those league nights. So I'm not judging anybody for not going, because I know I go when I can, but it's just very difficult to get out there and do that sometimes. But it's going to take a couple of phases of approach. One, I think it's going to involve everyone, speaking about the game in a positive manner. Usually when you're talking about it, oh, this sucks, this is bad, this is stuff. I wish our community would just get together and be like, hey, we like this game, and talk about the good that you see. So I've gotten into the habit of trying to speak good about the game when I'm around, and I try to take multiple decks with me. If someone is curious about it, I try to introduce them and have them play. Hey, what are you guys doing over there? Always be welcoming of people to come in to your circles. And a lot of times, a lot of TCGs, you want to be off-putting, you want to hold people out. I say, hey, whenever someone asks, hey, what you guys doing over there? I always try to bring them in. We're playing Lorcana. Here it is. You want to try it sometime or whatever, and just trying to introduce more people to it instead of, isolating them out. Another thing, that's how it was for me. Like for trading card games, it became like a sanctuary or like a safe space, because I moved schools a lot when I was younger, and whenever I would go to a new school, it was always the table in the lunchroom or the place in the library where the kids are gathering the games. They're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, they're playing whatever, and I can always have a place where I could be a part of that. Okay, whereas in the world, people might not have that too, and they could find that same type of home in this community, so I think just being open, being able to talk about it and introduce people to it, but it will require, I think at a certain point, it's going to require some type of support from the Robertsburger. I think there's going to have to be like a tournament pack or some type of a reason to go to these leagues. The pins going away kind of hurt, and some of the prize structure kind of leaving kind of was a setback in the wrong direction. So eventually, maybe not now, maybe in the future, they should have something to come in to support people going. Like I remember when I played Yu-Gi-Oh again, they would have those tournament packs, and I love the tournament packs. That would be really, really cool thing to do. People show up, you get a tournament pack, you win, you get a tournament pack, and just have that be something that people can have a reason to go to, that's outside of just community and playing, because it takes a lot to get over there a lot of times.
That's fair. Fair. I know, kind of off air and in just our normal conversation, I think Nathaniel might have mentioned at one point. Can you imagine how like nuts it would be if they had like a special Altipo inside some sort of like league night prize pack, and how crazy that would go? Like people would be everywhere. Everyone would want this card.
That's my favorite car. I love Tipo. I'm kidding. I cannot stand Tipo. Ban Tipo. But yeah, that's essentially what a tournament pack is. Something that is exclusive, and the only way you can get it is by going there. And like the promos, these like the hobby promos, these are kind of cool, but I don't think these are cool enough because they look so close to what to what the actual one are. You need like alternate art or different printing or some type of a card that is playable or something to inspire people to say, hey, I want to go there. And I think the idea of pulling a tournament exclusive pack is so alluring to me. Like, I don't know. I just remember that was some of my biggest highlights of my whole life, is pulling an ultra rare from a tournament pack. It's like one of the greatest feelings you will ever have in trading card games. And I would love to have that experience be back in this game, because that'll be something so unique and cool. And if they started doing tournament packs today, I'd be at every league night every single day collecting as many tournament packs as possible. Doesn't matter what I got going on. I'm going. Cut the stream off, get in traffic, it doesn't matter. I'm going.
I love it. You gotta pull that full art villain Tipo.
Oh yeah, that's right. Or something cool. Like it could be whatever. I think it'd be so nice, man. It'd be such a breath of fresh air. But I like going, but also on the inverse of that, I have heard reports of people, hey, we're still getting like 25, 30 people a league. I went to a tournament, or I was down in LA. I went to a tournament at the Gamers Den, or not Gamers Den, excuse me, oh my goodness, the Anime Impulse over there at the there's a tournament down there in LA, and I went to just one of their locals because I just happened to be there. That thing was packed. It was like 40 people in there on just a random Thursday. Like, it was packed in there. I was like, wait a minute, why don't I have this? Like, it was insane. They had like a whole they had to do best of one. There was so many people in there to end in a normal amount of time. So it was like stuff like that can happen, and it just depends on people's different areas, man. And some are starting to dry up though, which does sting a little bit.
Yeah, that's something we've noticed too. And hopefully there's one thing we've talked about, especially with Pixar coming up, and you mentioned that as well. Like, I think that is something that will rejuvenate a lot of people into the game, or at least that's my hope, right? Mm-hmm. From a positive glass half full perspective. But not every game's perfect, and I don't mean to put you on spot, but since we have you here and all the wealth of knowledge that you do have, from a different lens, is there something in the game that you particularly don't like that you would like to see improved upon?
Oh wow, okay.
One example is with rotation. I think there's been a lot of criticism with rotation. And I think we personally think that rotation overall long term is good for a game. But maybe there was some kinks that weren't maybe tested, really worked out, fleshed out for this rotation that I think has caused a lot of frustration, particularly in the sense that since rotation, we've seemed to see a lot of the same meta decks since then. And the variety is starting to expand a little bit, which is great now that Winter Spell is out. But that's just one example. Is there anything else that you see that you want to see improved upon with the game? Because, like I said, not every game is perfect.
For sure. And this game is not perfect. I think it is the best trading card game that I have played. And I tried a few other games, and I just really enjoy the time that I do spend playing Lorcana. I do feel that I agree with you. I think rotation may have happened a bit too soon. I think Fabled, it just did not. For some reason, the Fabled. I don't think this is a bit sacrilege here. I don't think Fabled should have happened at all. I think Fabled was a complete throw, in my opinion. I think they probably should have split those cards up, put them into Rain of Jafar, or put them into the Winter Spell or Whispers in the Well, and just never did Fabled. And I think it's kind of seemed like it was a hand I don't know. It didn't seem like it was executed correctly. And if you're gonna rotate, let's just rotate and let's just start over and get rid of all those reprints and just play the game as it may be, or maybe delay that rotation a little bit and then maybe get 10 sets in and then you rotate it or something like that, and then just start over fresh with just that next set, and we'll just have a rudimentary game again. But I don't know. But one thing I really do think I would like to see not change, or maybe from a game design philosophy standpoint, I think singing as a mechanic is really cool, but I think singing is a really, really strong thing, and it has to be kind of curtailed and balanced a bit. I don't know how to do this, but I feel maybe singing a song that can remove a character from the board, I think maybe we just stop doing that. Like maybe like along came Zeus, he heard us thunderbolt, strength of raging fire, let it go, into the unknown, you're welcome, mother knows best. Any song that you can sing that removes your opponent's character from the board, never do it again. We're cutting all those. I like the idea of singing, but it should come with like a supplementary thing, or maybe you boost a character's strength or something, or you reduce another character, like Delamoon's Lullaby, I think is a cool song. Trials and Tribulations, or I don't know, Swordplay. That's not a song, but like cards that can give Challenger or give Resist or give Bodyguard or something like it's Nothing to Lose, nothing I won't give or something like that. That should be the cut and caliber of songs that we see. Like songs like Be Prepared or Under the Sea just should not exist, in my opinion, because it's too powerful and it's free, so I do love singing as a mechanic, and I think it really is quintessential Disney Lorcana at this point, and it should exist, but it should not exist in a world where you can remove stuff from the board, because it just becomes one-sided and like tempo annihilating. Strength of Raging Fire, just get it all out. I think that would be my fix.
Honestly, I think now that you mention that, when I think about the games I've played that have been the most lopsided or the most kind of what you'd describe as like a non-game, the game's over before it really felt like it even started.
Yeah.
And some people would describe that as, one person had like the nuts, right? Like
right.
Draw. But what usually happens as part of that is usually there is a song in there, whether it's they hit the Under the Sea on turn 3, right? In a deck that shall not be named, or like they're able to do a lot of stuff for free via singing, and it cripples your board in some way. I think, singing up to your point, like the removal songs, when, Amethyst Steel, as you mentioned earlier, sometimes when it does the most like unfair thing that it can do, it's spilling a lot of characters out, it's singing down the opponent's characters, and as the opponent, you're just like sitting there watching your board evaporate, and you can't do anything about it.
Exactly. I think if that were, like, hypothetically, Strength of a Raging Fire would still be a pretty good card if you just had to pay 3 ink to use it. It will still be a totally fine, very serviceable card. But the fact that you can now sing it and take especially if you're going first, you play a character, they play a character. You play a character, they play a character. You play a character, they play a character. You sing Strength on their guy. You're now so far ahead of them at no fault of your own. You literally did not do anything. Like maybe you can play Pete, maybe you can play like Ursula or something, but that just kind of locks you into Emerald Steel, and that's like the least played deck right now in Core Constructed. So it's like, I think that's just, to me, I think that is just a mistake. Whereas if they, sing a song like, hey, I'm still here, my guy has Resist, I draw a card, okay, that's cool. I just won't be able to challenge your guy this turn. Great play, but it's not the end of the world for me. I still can play my game too. And now we can kind of catch up or something. But I think singing as a mechanic is very cool, but it is something that really should be kept. Like singing a song Teeth and Ambitions, and also the Be King Undisputed. Even singing that song is like, okay, boom, I play 4, you get rid of a guy. Granted, you can play around that a little bit easier, but still, just being able to remove your stuff for free while still being able to use my ink to advance my own game state is just so much of a tempo sink a lot of times that I think that should be something that is never, singing removal should be out, completely out, in any form. I think that's just will be my immediate fix. Ban them all.
Awesome take.
That is a hot take. That is really interesting. So you only want card draw off of songs, is what I'm hearing.
You can card draw, or you can do like static effects. You can do like, hey, I'm gonna sing this song, and now all my characters gain Bodyguard. Okay, cool. I'm gonna sing this song, and like fragile as a flower. Or was it I'm gonna heal. We'll sing a song. There's something that heals damage or something like that. Like there can be cards that you can do stuff with that does not affect your opponent's tempo. Like I think that's just inherently not gonna be good more often than not. Like a Kud Edamudi is probably one of the most broken cards in the history of this game. I still think that card is fine compared to Strength of Raging Fire. Like I still think it's fine. Even though I think that card might be pushing it a bit too far, but I still think that's healthier for the game than say a Strength of Raging Fire or something like that. Like I can even look, okay, what are some of the songs we have? We got songs. Let me just pull up some songs and see what is, like, do you want to build a snowman? I think that card is okay. Strike a good match. Great song. Grab your bow. Not in this world. Okay, not gonna happen. All right. Malicious, Mean, and Scary. It's gone too. But I'm much faster. Great song. You see what I'm saying? We got some good ones. Circle of Life is a good song. Heal What Has Been Hurt. Lost in the Woods. World's Greatest Criminal Mind. World's Greatest Out of Here. Okay, not a song. Pay your 3 ink like a normal. I mean, there are some good ones out there, but you'll see. You just have to look at them and just look at the songs that are being played. Probably any song that is being played competitively, I would probably remove from the core constructed game in a band.
That's interesting that too, because it does seem like, so Ryan and I are both big fans of Amethyst, and the great example that we've kind of seen Ravensburger take from like a diversion away from a song has been something like the Woodchuck Guidebook as a replacement for Friends on the Other Side, right? Like, both are 3-cost inkable cards that are purple, but one of them you have to pay 3 ink. You could do it over multiple turns, but you have to pay 3 ink to get the 2 cards versus the old world, right? You could sing to draw the 2 cards, and that was pretty busted.
I thought that was insane. I thought Friends on the Other Side was an insane card. I think maybe that's not removing cards from the board, but it's just so free, and you just free draw cards. I mean, Pot of Greed in Yu-Gi-Oh was an insane card. I mean, I still keep this here just for that reason, as a little reminder. You know,
it still exists in this game.
He's always there watching me, but. That card's insane in that game. Draw 2 is always going to be a really good thing to do, especially when you can do it for free. I think forcing people to use their ink to play actions, I think, is value there. That should be the way.
Great, interesting topic to bring to the Ravensburger team and see where it has in the future of the game here. So, let's see. Let's transition a little bit more into kind of a personal note. So in your life, how do you find balance between, playing and casting in Lorcana and all the commitments you have with streaming and YouTube and everything like that, and your home and your family life? How do you find time to, be a dad and enjoy time with your kids with all of this massive hobby going on? Do you have any other hobbies that you fit in around it as well?
Well, no, all of my hobbies revolve around this. Like, my hobbies are like the tech stuff and the setup stuff and the streaming. That's kind of like the hobby, and Lorcana is obviously the hobby. But I'll usually, a lot of times, my wife, I call her production, but she is I call her production because she is production, but she's literally production. Like, she helps me, and she usually travels a lot with me and to go to these things. My kids, on the other hand, they are getting to that age to where they're like, okay, my oldest daughter's 18, so she's, they're like 18. We got 18. My second daughter's about to be 16 here in September. She will be 16. And my youngest daughter, she's going to be 13 here soon. So we spend time, like, we'll watch movies and stuff together. We hang out, we play games and do those kind of things. But more often it's like, okay, I'm going to do my thing. I need you to go do your thing. And, kind of the two, we hang when we can. We go out when we can. We go, do the escape rooms or go out to dinner, or we'll hang out as a family from time to time. But more often than not, I'm going to be kind of, cooking over here. They're going to be cooking over there. And once I'm done streaming, we'll go watch a movie together, watch some shows together. But, a lot of times they don't want to play. Like, I can't convince them to come and play this game. Like, I've tried. I've convinced so many other people to play, and my wife will play. She plays. My youngest daughter will play. She shows some interest in playing. But my oldest two, they're like, nah, dude, we're good. I'm fine. I can't be bothered. And I'm like, come on, man. This is it. But we are a Disney family. Like, we go to Disney World and Disneyland and things of that sort all the time. And we always watching Disney movies. So we have that tie that binds us all together. And the realm of Lorcana just has not reached them yet. Okay, they will. They will come in. Sooner than later. But yeah, it's a family affair. Like, my wife and I, she's right over there right now, like, getting probably gonna get done with this and have our little production meeting and figure out what the next step is and what's gonna happen and do all that. But yeah, it's a family affair. Maybe I'll bring them into the production team too and teach them how to do all the setup. We'll all just start traveling together when the company takes off.
Yeah. You've been going to a lot of fun places, so I'm sure they won't mind hitching a ride and traveling around the world. You've been, like you said, you've been really blessed to do it, and no better voice, in our opinion, to do it as well.
Thank you so much.
But I'm surprised we talk about other hobbies. I've noticed that you make a lot of basketball references, and I'm a big basketball guy, and I think Ryan is too.
Very much so.
Like, you talk about Jordan and Pippen, like a lot of these things, and coming from that background, that really piques my interest. I'm surprised basketball isn't a big hobby of yours.
I actually do play. I play a little bit. I actually plan on playing a game of basketball when I go to the Ink event in Baltimore. Shout out to Garrett. We're gonna be playing some basketball against each other. I can play, but I am old and I get hurt a lot. And like I said, I'm a very competitive person, and I don't rate limit myself. So I'll go out there and I'll push it to the limit, probably too hard, and I ended up like sore or tearing something or tweaking something, and it's just like bad. But I do play. I do like the game. Basketball, it's cool. You play? You guys play basketball too?
I used to play. Ryan used to play competitively, but to your point, yeah, once you reach a certain age, it's like, ooh, I don't cover as best as possible anymore.
Yeah,
exactly.
You mentioned tearing things, and I think I officially retired both of us from any sort of like rec league sports. I was a week before the birth of my first daughter, my first kid, and I tore my Achilles playing rec league soccer.
Oh no! Ouch! I'm so sorry.
When it happened, and he's just like, "Oh, that's the end of my career too." So,
I never went back. I just was like, "That's good. I don't need that in my life either."
Yeah, double career ender right there for sure.
Yeah, the recovery time's different. The injury risk is up, and it just felt like, hey, I can find other ways to scratch the competitive itch. I just need to be running around with the young guys anymore.
Did you have to get surgery?
It doesn't stop you from slinging your shiny cardboard. So at least
there you go.
Exactly. No.
Did you have to get a surgery for the Achilles?
Yeah. It was. I mean, it wasn't fully torn through, but it was all like 80% frayed all the way down, if you will. So instead of like cutting it clean off, it was just like frayed all the way down. My surgeon didn't know that I had the like thickest ancillary tendon that he's ever seen in an Achilles surgery. That's kind of something to hang my hat on now. that actually got tied into the new Achilles, and so yeah, I'm all good now. I'm functioning and I'm active and I'm running and jumping and playing, and I beat my daughter to walking. So kudos to me on that.
Nice.
I'm good now, but I haven't gone back to any sort of like rec league competitive sports because one, I was banned during the pregnancy of my wife's second pregnancy because she said, if you do that again, like I don't know what I'm gonna do because I'm losing my mind. Mm-hmm. And then B, because I didn't want to have to go through recovery while chasing a toddler around and having a newborn at the same time. It just felt like that was maybe too much. One newborn in a recovery phase is we can do that, but add the toddler in and then all bets are off.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah, but I did play basketball for a long time, so I like to go out and shoot hoops a little bit, just, pick up the basketball and don't actually play anything, just hit some three-pointers and do some free throws, maybe miss a couple of layups and then call it a day.
A little horse, that's it.
Yeah.
You want to do some trivia, JDZ, before we wrap up?
Of course. Let's cook.
So we put together 3 questions for you, just some fun, see if you can get them, and let's dig deep into the wells of your memory here.
Okay.
There are prizes on the line here.
There are prizes.
You're playing for some not so family recipes of ours. So
let's do it. Let me lock in.
Your kitchen here in a second.
I'll do question 1.
Okay. So, let me lock in.
We live in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul in Minnesota. Who from our area participated in Disney Lorcana's first World Championship?
Oh. Wait a minute.
Ooh.
There was one Minnesotan who played at the Worlds.
We do have a good follow-up hint in case he doesn't.
Oh, hold on. Let me see. Oh, Minnesotan. Okay, a Minnesotan. Oh my goodness. I feel like I should know this. I should know this. Oh man. Oh my goodness. All right, give me a small hint. What is their claim to fame? What tournament? Okay, no, that's too much. Okay. It's too close.
I got you on which tournament. They did very well at the North American Continental Championships.
The North American Continental Championships.
Like very well there.
The runner-up.
Like really far.
Oh, Scott Markinson?
Yes, let's go.
Scott Markinson's your guy? I didn't know
Minnesota. You affectionately call him the people's champion here locally. So,
dude, he's such an awesome dude. He's so quiet too, man. He doesn't. I think he could be like way more out there. I did not know he was from Minnesota, man.
Yeah. You can add that to your repertoire of fun facts to share next time you see him on stream.
Now you know. Now we know.
And for that, the prize is my family's not-so-secret tater tot hot dish recipe. So we will be sending that your way.
Thank you. W's.
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate
a hot dish, not a casserole.
A hot dish, not a casserole.
We'll try it.
Okay, this one should be a little bit easier, low-hanging fruit, because we may have spilled the beans on this one. But
okay.
what DLC did we meet you in person?
It was in Milwaukee.
Nailed it.
It was in Milwaukee. It was in Milwaukee. I remember.
During our favorite Fabled meta. So that'll be, the price for that is my wife's copycat ziti recipe.
Let's go. We're eating good in the neighborhood, dude.
Yeah, so it's based on this is gonna show how maybe not cultured we were when we were younger, but we often liked going to Olive Garden, and they have like a pretty good ziti there.
What's wrong with Olive Garden? Hold up, wait. We're not about to sit here.
That's my birthday spot for the last 20 years.
Listen,
it's good.
I took and I just mentioned this the other day. I took my wife's, our very first date, we went to the Olive Garden, okay? Olive Garden has a very special place in my heart. We've been married for 18 years, okay? Olive Garden, whenever I see one, I feel the love. Don't ever disrespect the OG like that, man. Come on.
I won't disparage it. Well, obviously we like it because her recipe is built on kind of recreating that, but at home, and we found out you can make it's probably 10-to-1 ratio in terms of like the ziti per dollar.
Oh, nice.
You can get a lot more ziti this way.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really good. I'm not to toot my own horn here, but she crushes it. So
right on. Let's go.
All right. Question 3. See if you can go 3 for 3 here.
Let's get it.
What is the most difficult food item to eat in a single bite?
Ooh.
A little bit of an subjective response here, but we'll throw it out there.
It's tough. This is actually a tougher question than you might realize.
Yeah, let's get into it.
As someone who eats a lot of things in one bite, that's my go-to. I don't have a lot of time. I think chewing is I think it's not optimal. It's not optimal. I think you look at animals like hippopotamus. You look at alligators. You look at some of these other animals. They don't sit around here chewing and taking bite. Like, what are we doing? You get it in your gullet and you move on. Pelicans come to mind. Is another animal that I base my my strategy on, because they don't get caught up in this whole chewing and biting. So yeah, one shot. So when you try to one-shot something, usually it's got to be something that is malleable, something soft, something that can kind of smush and compact a little bit, but also have a high density of nutrients. So when I think of things that you would not want, it has to be something that is usually something hard or something rigid or something very cold, okay? Maybe like ice cream might be actually quite tough. Popsicles, a big like popsicles might be good. Big ice cream, or maybe something that also doesn't taste good. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe like vegetables, something like a hard vegetable. I'm gonna say carrot. I don't want to be one shot in any carrots. Okay, or maybe even like maybe something like, I don't know, like a tomato or something. I don't know. Maybe something. That's where I would take it. I think carrot or tomato or some large vegetable.
An eggplant, maybe?
Eggplant. Whoa, gosh. No eggplant. No carrots. No veg. Okay.
Sure. Sure. So if you made like a carrot tomato uncrustable, you'd say that might be top of the list.
That might make it in, because that means it would have to be cooked. Now, if it's all steamed and cooked and put into a pastry or of some sort, like a hot pocket, if you will, room temperature, yeah, that's going right in there, no issue, right down the tube, easy. But if it's like a raw carrot, you're not gonna be able to do it. It's just gonna be chewing all day, and it's just not. You want something to be. It's got to be quick. It's got to be quick. Boom, bam, out of there.
Fair enough. So on the flip side of that, what would be the easiest?
Okay, easy. Like anything like a candy bar, like a Snicker or a Twix, something that tastes good and it's easy to just crunch in there. Like a Uncrustable kind of works very well, obviously, because it's a very it's a packaged delivery system that can just give you the nutrients that you need. Okay, really quick, and it's small, but it's also packed. It's calorie dense is what you're also wanting there too, because you don't want to be sitting there having this whole meal. You're not trying to eat. We're trying to get it into your neck, and you're trying to move on. Like we're trying to. If you could just inject the calories and not even eat, that's probably even better. If you can. I will
advocate for using your gut when you're able to use your gut. Because TPN. It doesn't go well for them.
Okay.
I'm surprised that Uncrustable is easy to eat.
It's easy.
I've tried to one shot on Uncrustable, and let me tell you, that was maybe the driest experience. Second only to trying to do like a saltine challenge. There is nothing left, no saliva left in my mouth. I can't even swallow this. I feel like I'm gonna choke.
You gotta really, you can't come at it with like dry mouth. You gotta come at it. Maybe you gotta sip a little bit. Maybe get like some water or something to go along with it. Chase it down, okay? But you don't want to just be especially if you've been talking a lot or you've been dry mouthing it. Maybe don't go for it. Because that peanut butter will kind of jam you up a little bit. Get some water, kind of chase it down.
Real talk, you gotta like dislocate your jaw when you're ripping those down, because when I tried that Uncrustable challenge, I got maybe half of it in there. There was no way that whole thing was fitting in.
You gotta send it.
Yeah,
and people are surprised, like, and they think, oh, okay, he's just doing that. He's just doing it for a bit. But when people are shocked to see, like, when I'm doing broadcasting or if I'm out and I'm doing like a tournament, that's how I eat for real. Like, that is just how I eat everything. Anytime you give me something, oh, here's this, oh, the whole thing is gone in one bite. It's nothing. Nothing is surviving. It's not. If we're not sitting down at a table eating a meal, if it's like on a forage kind of thing, or if you're like, hey, we're on the floor and we just need to get this thing. Hey, here's a little, and we're moving on. I'm not about to sit here and be eating and taking my time. No, I got no time for that. Eat it and move on.
I love that.
Well, we'll accept that, I think.
Yeah, I think we accept that as a successful answer, yes.
So the third recipe that you have earned is my chicken chili recipe. So too.
Let's go.
Very much in the Midwest, we're known for our hearty crockpot meals. So
all right, I won't leak any of these recipes, or I might start a cookbook and put them out there.
Please
Love
do.
Love that.
Okay.
Well, before we wrap up the show, we want to give you an opportunity to just plug anything you want to go for it and put a bow on the show.
Right on. Well, I'm going to plug the community. All of you out here who are watching it at the DuckTale Dads, thank you guys for allowing me to be here and be a part of this experience. I do love to broadcast tournaments, so if there's a tournament that you want to be covered, make sure you hit me up, and maybe I can make it happen for you. Tournaments I have coming up on the horizon, we have the Enchanted Citrus Clash that's going to be taking place at the end of May. So it's going to be the end of May, May 30th and 31st is the Enchanted Citrus Clash. Sign-ups for that are open. Enter the Battlefield. It's going to be before that, the weekend before that. There's going to be a tournament there in Canada, in Oakville. It's going to be lit. Sign-ups for that are open. Both of those are going to be Infinity. I'll be at both of those events. I'll also be at Inc. Open the weekend before that. So it's going to be 3 weekends in a row in May. Boom, boom, boom. All Lorcana all the time. It's going to be really cool. And then the Disney Lorcana Challenge in Indianapolis. I'll be hopefully going there. If they bring me in as a broadcaster, I'd love to do that. But if not, I'll be there playing in that event as well. So come on through and see. Are you guys going? Any of you guys going to Indianapolis?
Unfortunately, I'm not able to make it.
No, it's like right down the road from you guys. That's an easy drive. No,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
We're all on like family vacations or something.
Unfortunate.
Busy that weekend. But
yeah, it is the summer.
What it is. Season 3, we'll be back.
Okay, yes. Right on. Also, I'll be at D23. I'm going down to D23, and then I'm gonna go to the national event as well. So both of those, I'm just gonna do a whole family vacation down in California. We're gonna stay there for like 2 weeks and just do D23 into Disneyland, and that's gonna be how we end out the competitive year. So I'm looking forward to it. This is a very exciting time. Like I said, the game of Lorcana, Disney Lorcana, is just in such a great spot right now, and I do believe there are so many people who would be interested in playing this game if they just knew about it or they knew what it was all about. So come on through. If that's you, get out here and play, and let's make a friend today at some point.
If you know someone, get them in, get them hooked and get them in this too. Our friend got us in it. It's a great hobby. It's a fun time.
For sure.
Second JDZ's plug there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talk a lot about on our podcast, like these banner moments for us. And this is truly a banner moment for us. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Truly appreciate it. You mentioned that one of your main goals is to just bring passion to commentating. And we truly do feel that through the screen. We're very much fans of what you do for the community. You're such a positive influence for the community. So thank you so much for not only joining us here, but for what you do for the whole Lorcana scene. It's truly appreciated, and I hope that's at least brought to you, and you do receive some flowers on it because you do such a good job with it.
Thank you guys so much, man. That means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, us on YouTube, both the audio version and the video version, to see all of our lovely faces on screen. But with that, thank you so much, JDZ. It's truly been a pleasure. Find us on Instagram. We'll message back and forth as well. On Instagram, we post there from time to time. But with that, gentlemen, let's get the duck out of here.
That's so good. I love that.